Amara ain't the only one that can ricochet bullets and do a ton of damage. Today I present you my flak Boomerang build. Asiva, this is LaserBolt, and welcome once again to another flak build, guys. Today we're going to be taking a look at a build that I've been working on and trying to make sure that we can produce the same amount of damage, produce the same effect that we're able to do with Amara, but on Flak. Now, Flak, to me personally, has got to be the slowest character. He's a slowpoke, and he does need a little bit of help. As you see, other characters, they move quite quickly around the field, around the battlefield, but Flak is a little bit slow, which makes it a little bit difficult to run certain builds with him. But right now, I think I found a really good synergy that's going to let us be able to boomerang a bunch of bullets and also have a ton of survivability. In addition to that, great crowd control, but overall in general, great boss DPS. Now, if you guys would like me to share this save file build with you guys, let's try to get this video to 500 likes, but without further ado, let's jump into the build. Alright, so let's get started, of course, with the Stalker tree. Now, we're going to be actually dumping a lot of points into different trees, but for this one in general, we're just going to be picking up a total of 5 points into self-repairing system. This is just going to maximize our health, and it's going to be allowing us to constantly regenerate our health, which is really good. And for this particular build, health is quite important. Then we're going to be going into the 100 tree. This is where we're going to be doing the majority of our points. We're going to get started by dumping 5 points into Interplanetary Stalker. Basically, this is going to convert everything from robot, human, and pets, giving us increased damage for that particular type of character. Then we're going to be dumping 4 points into Second Intention. What this is going to allow us to do is that whenever we kill an enemy, we're going to get increased reload speed. Now, this is really important because the weapon we're going to primarily be using requires us to reload quite a lot, which is a shotgun. So this is actually pretty important. In addition to that, it's going to allow us to get bonus critical hit kills. So that's actually pretty good. Then we're going to be dumping a total of 5 points into Hunter Eye. What this is going to do, it's going to give us bonus on critical hit damage, armor damage, and damage reduction against the characters we picked up from the Interplanetary Stalker, which are humans, robots, and beasts. Next, we're going to go and put 1 point into head count. What this is going to do, it's going to allow us that reduce our action skill cooldown whenever we get a crit hit. We should be getting a ton of crit hits with this build, so we are going to be getting that action cooldown, which is going to allow us to spam our action skill and get a couple benefits that are going to be very beneficial to us. Then we're going to be dumping 1 point into Two Fang. That's going to allow us to fire an extra projectile per shot. Really important because the weapon we're using does fire projectiles, and the more projectiles we can actually fire, the better we're going to be off. Then we're going to be dumping a total of 3 points into Big Game. What this is going to allow us to do, it's going to allow us to get our hunter skill duration a little bit longer and to also have more status effect within that skill duration. Then we're going to be dumping a total of 3 points into the Most Dangerous Game. Once again, another hunter kill skill. Whenever we kill a badass, which you're going to be dealing a lot within maliwan, it's going to increase our gun damage and our critical hit damage. This is the main reason we're picking this one up. Next, we're going to be dumping 1 point into Galactic Shadow, and this is going to allow us to increase our critical hit damage, which is really important. We're going to be dumping a total of 3 points into Grim Harvest. Actually, I think I'm going to dump 2 here into Grim Harvest. Let me double check and I'll let you guys know. We'll probably have to come back here, but we're going to be dumping, I believe it's 3, but I'm going to stick with 2 right now. And this is going to give us increased gun damage, and our action skill damage is going to get increased as well. And last but not least, guys, we're going to be picking up 1 point into Megavore, which is going to give us a chance to score a critical hit shot on our weapons whenever we hit body shots, which, remember, we get crit hits on our another one that we were using. It's going to reduce our action skill cooldown, so it's going to allow us to actually get that very well. Next up, guys, we're going to go into the blue tree. Now, for the blue tree, guys, we are looking to pick up a couple of really good ones. First, we're going to start off by picking a 2 from Ferocity, and this is going to increase our pet damage. Then we're going to be dumping a total of 3 points into Persistence Hunter, giving us gun damage and action skill duration. The majority reason we're picking this one up, of course, is for the gun damage. Then we're going to be dumping a total of 4 points into Who Rescued Who. And this is what it's going to do. It's going to give us that health regen that we want, because we are going to need to be a little bit tanky, especially running with Flak and moving around the battlefield. We're going to be dumping 1 point into He Bites, and this is going to give us damage reflection. And it's pretty good because it returns a portion of that health, that portion from whatever our pet takes, which our pet's going to be taking a lot. going to return it a little bit back to us. Then we're going to be dumping a total of 5 points into Frenzy. And what this is going to allow us to do, guys, it's going to allow us that for each stack of Frenzy, it's going to increase the damage that we have for a few seconds. Next, guys, we're dumping 1 point into Barbaric Jap. And then I was correct. It's 3 points here into Grim Harvest, which is pretty good. As you guys see, we're going to do 21 gun damage, and our action skill damage is plus 70. Plus, our pet damage is also increased. While we're here, guys, we're going to be picking up the RAKK attack, which is it's going to be very beneficial to us. We're also going to be picking up the Spider Rant Scorcher. What this is going to do, it's going to allow us to regenerate health and increase our elemental damage, which is going to be very important based on the gear that we have. We're also going to be picking up a Falconer's Feast, which is going to give us our portion of our health whenever our racks hit. And last but not least, we're going to pick up a RAKK Accelerator. And we should be good with the current build that we have. All our points are wasted. Now it's time to take a look at the gear and find out exactly what makes this build shine and stand out. Alright, so for our gear, you guys are going to want to pay close attention because we are going to be switching a couple weapons out based on what we're doing. So the majority of the time when you're playing through the whole maliwan raid, your main weapon is going to be this one, the Projectile Recursion. Now, the Projectile Recursion is actually a really good weapon. Highly recommend you guys definitely try to get your hands on one. If for some reason you guys haven't been able to get one, I am going to be uploading the save file for this particular build. So if you guys want us to upload this save file, make sure let's try to get this video to 500 likes, and that save file will be uploaded. And the cool thing about this one is that we have really high damage, 254, but in addition to that, we have our action skill and anointment. Weapon damage is increased by 100%. Since we are running the racks are going to pretty much give us that infinite on action skill end. So that means this weapon's going to be firing at 100 times more weapon damage almost indefinitely. Next up, guys, we have the redundant Brainstormer, and this one's actually pretty good as well. And this is mostly for crowd control. Both of these weapons are pretty much the same. They both work really well with ground control. The biggest difference being, of course, is that the Brainstormer is whenever you have really tight enemies and they're really clunkered together. The Recursion is mostly for enemies who are a little bit further away, and it's a really good weapon. They're both really good, kind of work very similar. It's just that one does a little bit more damage against bosses than the other one. So we have it here mostly for crowd control. The next two weapons, guys, we have, of course, is the Gutsman. This is just going to be, we're not going to be using the Gutsmans quite too often. We're probably going to be only using them when we fight Wu-Tang. So other than that, guys, we should be good to go. And then we have another Gutsman, which also has corrosive damage. All of these weapons, guys, come with the same action skill. Whenever our action skill ends, we're going to be doing 100 more extra damage, which is really important and really spicy. All right, so now let's take a look at the shield. Now, the shield, guys, we're running the Transformer. I love the Transformer. Transformer's super tanky, really good shield. Main reason why we're running this shield in particular is for a couple of reasons. The biggest reason being is on action skill and gain 50 bonus shock damage with weapons for 10 seconds. Really important because technically speaking, guys, as you guys know, your Recursion is going to shoot 2 projectiles. It's going to shoot like 2 little flying saucers out, and that's why I kind of wanted to call this build the UFO build, but I went with the Boomerang build. But it's going to shoot 2 saucers, but what's going to happen is since we have on action skill and gain bonus shock damage, that means that we're also going to be shooting a shock damage frisbees or UFO out as well. So it's really important. That's the main reason we're running this. And since, like I said, we're going to be stacking that action skill and indefinitely, we're going to be doing that quite often. So it's going to be very important. Now, technically speaking, the only thing I would probably change here is since our gun is already shock damage, I would probably go and get something maybe like cryo or corrosive, just to kind of tie the two together, because or incinerary, because it would actually give us multiple damages effects. But other than that, we're good to go. I actually like it with shock damage. That's just kind of giving you guys a other alternative if you don't have this one. Next, guys, our class mod is the RAKK class mod. Now, this one in particular is I consider to be a god mode, especially for this particular build. Look at the flavor text, guys. 25 weapon damage, 31 shotgun damage, and plus 10 maliwan damage. So that means that my weapons here, this one's the main ones that I'm using, which is the Gutsman and the Recursion. The Recursion in general is going to get 66 more damage just by using this class mod. Amazing. In addition to that, it's going to allow us to have our racks, whenever they hit an enemy, it's going to split into 2, and it's going to give us more racks to actually hit people with. Plus, it's also giving us a total of kind of 4+ points into that particular class mod, into that particular skill tree, which is the Grim Harvest, which is going to give us that increased gun damage and that action skill damage, which is really, really important and really good. Next up, guys, for our artifact, we are going to be running the Last Stand Victory Rush. This is really cool because it gives us a, whenever we kill a badass, it's going to trigger Victory Rush. And that's going to increase our movement speed and also our damage by 60 seconds. Flak is really slow, and I like that extra damage. And one thing I'd love, of course, is the 18% movement speed, because it's actually going to be helping us quite exponentially. Plus, in addition to that, the flavor text is alright. I'm not like 100% in favor of the flavor text. Action skill cooldown rate, really good because we get our racks a little bit better. Shield regeneration, pretty good as well. The area status effect, that one I wish it was a little bit different. But the main reason we want this is because temporary vulnerable when our health drops for 50%, which is pretty spicy. And last but not least, guys, what ties all of this together, it's the It's Pissed grenade. Now, this is really important because this grenade's going to give you even more damage on top of the current damage that we have. What it does, it says damaged enemies take a 20% increased damage for 6 seconds. So if you throw this grenade, it hits the enemy, it's going to give you even 20% more damage for 6 seconds on that particular enemy. In addition to that, we have the on action skill and again bonus cryo damage. So that means since we can't stack multiple damages, so it can't be cryo, but we could stack cryo and shock at the same time, and it's going to make this shoot 3 projectiles instead of just 1, which makes it really, really good. What I do usually, though, is when I run the maliwan, I do the whole maliwan with the hex, and I wonder until I get to the boss is when I switch over to the It's Pissed just for that additional damage. Because other than that, the hex is actually pretty powerful. Another one that's really good is this one right here, the tracker. The only problem with the tracker is currently right now I haven't been able to, I've been trying to farm one, but I haven't been able to get one on action skill and giving me any elemental damage. But if I did, that's what I probably would run all the way up to the boss, which would be really powerful. But overall, in general, guys, that is exactly how this build is put together. These are kind of really good weapons to use, and I hope you guys do like my Boomerang build. If there's anything you guys would like to change for my Boomerang build, or you want to suggest anything that you guys think might work a little bit better, let me know in the comment section down below. If you would like to see the complete run of me using this build, please also let me know in the comment section down below. I'll be more than happy to do a speed run with you guys for this one. Thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you guys on the next video.